y'all doing?
Doing great. What's going on?
Well, I brought a friend today. Lisa is one of our producers, agents at Bryan Insurance, and we're going to talk a little bit of life insurance today.
Okay.
So, right now is graduation and a few other things going on that we kind of, most people might not necessarily immediately think of life insurance when they think about those things, but we thought we'd bring up a few tips. So I think Lisa has a few things for us today about that.
Yeah, so one of the questions we always get asked is, who needs life insurance? Well, if you're gonna die, you need life insurance. And then the next question is, what kind? And so permanent and term are your main types of insurance, and in that you can pick any variation of the type of insurance that fits your lifestyle. And so we're not really gonna get into the details of all of those because there's hundreds and thousands. We could spend all day talking about that. But the basics, term, that's what most of us are probably interested in right now. Very affordable. If you want to think of it in simple terms, it's like renting your insurance. If you have a life event like graduation, a wedding, buying a new home, you can buy a short-term life insurance policy to cover those risks that you're assuming in your life. It makes it for a very safe investment.
Right, and just kind of as a consumer, I'm not licensed in life insurance, which is why I wanted Lisa to come talk with us. But as a consumer, when Matt, our youngest son, left for college for North Texas, we purchased life insurance for him. And I know it seems a little gruesome to think about it, and that's the last thing you want to think about. But in the horrible event that something happens and that person does pass away, you're gonna deal with the emotional side, but then you have to think about the financial side.
Right.
So you're thinking, if they're going off to college, what are some things that they may need that for? And one of them is student loan debt. That's a big one because that doesn't go away if something happens to that person. There's other things too, Lisa, besides student loan debt, but that was the one that we thought about. And so our thought was, we purchased it for him, and then when he graduates, which he's going to someday.
Yay.
He's going to 1 year from now, and whenever he is established on his own, then, maybe when he gets married, change the beneficiary. So he has that, for other things in his life, whether he purchases a home or whatever it is that he does. But it's a way to invest, like Lisa said. So in the instance that something does happen, then the people left to settle things are able to take care of those financial obligations and not have to take that on top of all the other things they're dealing with.
And I really think every time there's a life event, whether it's graduation, getting married, buying a home, retiring, those are major life changes that you really need to evaluate what you have in place just in case the catastrophic happens.
Now, one of the things about, I think, young adults talking about kids going to college and stuff like that, they're probably thinking, well, I can't afford life insurance. That's one big thing in my life, is that I've got all these things going on, I'm sending a kid to college, I can't afford it. But life insurance is really not that expensive.
Especially when you're talking about an 18-year-old healthy person, or even, not necessarily just 18, but typically, in this example, for the high school graduation going to college, they're usually not very expensive because they are healthy and they are young. So it's really not as expensive as you would think it might be.
I mean, it costs more to insure me than what you'd end up getting, but as a young person, you probably do a good job of that. So they need to talk to you guys about costs and about benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really depending on your lifestyle and your health status, you don't necessarily have to be young to get a very affordable life insurance policy. And now they've changed the rules and the regulations of the game where you can even easy apply. It's an application, for some people there's not even a medical background check. So it's very easy now to get a form of life insurance that fits your lifestyle.
Yeah, it's interesting because, used to, when people would apply for life insurance, they were going to have to go to see the company nurse and do all this. And I don't know all the details, but there's a whole new way of underwriting now where they look at, like she said, lifestyle, which really, I think they've proven tells more than sometimes the medical test do. So
I've had mine for 6 years. And because I was a pilot, because I have a family history of diabetes, I'm doing $275 for a $500,000 policy, but it runs out in 15 years.
yeah.
So you can get it. So fortunately for Stacy, I might die between now and then. I look at it, or what happens after that? Cause you typically can't carry those on, can you?
I can tell you what happened with us, because whenever Rick and I first married, I was 18 and he was 23, and I bought a policy, that the premium was gonna stay the same until the year he turned 54, and then I blinked and he turned 54. It's just amazing how
Yes.
fast that happened. We were able to keep, now, this was this particular one, I'm not speaking in all over, we were able to keep that policy, the premium just went up.
Oh, okay.
So it went from $23
So you
a
think it'll
month.
come back?
I mean,
Yeah, who knows?
mine went from $23 a month to $119 a month.
Right.
And so there's probably something in your policy, a schedule of what happens at that age and what the premium will be. There was with ours.
So I think I'm done at 72, so that's when how early should you be thinking about changing it at that point?
So,
Year
so
in,
one
2
of the
years?
things that I would consider too, depending on your age, is if you're looking at a term policy, kind of remember that's, you're renting that insurance. So what purpose do you have that insurance for? Is it to pay off a mortgage? Is it to pay off debt? Is it to send kids to college? And then really think about why you have any other form of life insurance. Like if you have a permanent policy, do you have that because you want to leave a legacy? Or are you trying to find a way to filter tax money? And really think about those needs that you have when you purchase life insurance. Don't just make a purchase because somebody told you need life insurance.
Pay off the radio station and
Yeah.
it's all set.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember whenever I sat down and bought that policy and Denny Bryan was explaining it to me, he said, by the time you get that age, you won't need as much, and it shows what he knew, huh? But no, seriously though, it is, you think about that person and you're counting on their earnings, as you're raising a family and all that, and so, that's the purpose of it.
How do we get a hold of you, Sonia?
Well, you can call us, 940-549-2525. Come see us, second floor Sierra Bank in downtown Graham, or online, www.bryanins.com.
All right, our insurance tip of the week on Y100 and B104.1.